Hello, how are you doing? So I'll be talking about why I left medicine and what am I doing now and so on and so forth. I think I just want this video to just be very raw and just unedited. Just to, I just wanted to share my experience. And I hope that it will help many of you who probably watch this, who thinking about changing careers or who are figuring things out about their life, right? And so I'll just give you a really quick rundown. I live in Poland, and I came to Poland actually 10 years ago. So this is actually 10 years anniversary of me living in Poland. And I came here specifically to study medicine, to have my medical education here. And I'm from Thailand, so initially that was my intention of graduating here, not intending to actually stay here at all. And the studies actually take 6 years. I wanted to finish my studies and go, I don't know, to the US or UK, the usual, or maybe somewhere in Europe. I don't know. That was my plan, or go back to Thailand as well. That was an option. But I was kind of just went with it. And if you are from Asia, I think you probably resonate with this, growing up, the only things that you get to become, is either being doctor, lawyer, engineer, or something adjacent to those STEM subjects, those the typical stable career. So you could say that. And that's how it all started. And I think I don't know where I'm going with this, but I eventually, and when I graduated during COVID, which was 2021, and it was around the time where actually my plan was I wanted to, actually stay in Poland. I've been studying a lot of Polish, also medical Polish. I was doing a lot, and I got myself to B2, and I passed actually the medical Polish as well. And that was my plan to just stay. But by that point, my view of medicine was a little bit different, because initially I started first year I was okay, I'm gonna be gonna go into specialty, and I may be psychiatry or something like that, or pediatrician, or heart, a cardiologist or something. And by the end of 6th year, I was what, it's been so tiring, and COVID really screwed me over, just mentally. I think it basically affected everybody, and very just huge uncertainty, and just not a very nice time. And for me, I just thought, okay, well, I really just wanted a stable job where I could get my income, and and I wanted to explore my other passions outside of life. I didn't want medicine to be main part of my life. I wanted to just bring me in money so that I could enjoy doing other things that I'm more passionate about, which I will talk about later. And so, that was my plan. So when I graduated and I passed all those exams, so to be a doctor here in Poland, so just to give you a little bit of context, you need to do this first year of internship, and then, you do a license exam, you become a general practitioner, and then, from there, it's up to you if you want to go into specialty or something. That all depends on your scores in the exams and many other things. I didn't get to do that because because of COVID, it was very difficult for me to process my resident card, which was very crucial for me to do that internship. So, it was a little bit of heartbreaking for me. back then it felt like a really big deal for me. Right now it's just like, I mean, I could have waited, but really, if to put yourself into my perspective, it was like I couldn't continue what I was supposed to do. Was like, I was in this train of going with this like medical career. I was on a train, and then suddenly the train stopped, and I had to, I couldn't do anything. Especially it was really difficult to travel during COVID, a lot of quarantining and stuff like that. So it was a very uncertain time. It's like, what is going to happen with my life, or what am I going to do next? And if you're watching this far as a medically, if you're in medical field, in beginning, you beginning like, okay, you got to do this, you got to do the exam, you're going to go continue doing this other exam, you're going to do this training, and it's like continue, like just like on and on and on and on and on. Lots of anxiety along the way, and insecurities and everything, like so many things. That is like one of the big reasons why I just like had to stop and take a pause. And I now look back, this channel, if you just stumbled on this channel is about spirituality, so if it's gonna be more on the spiritual note. I took that, now I understand that it was meant to be. I wouldn't mean to continue right away, because I needed to have a pause and to think about this decision. Because, when I started this journey, I was only 16. And being 16-year-old, like, do I know everything? Definitely not. Like, if I look back, I definitely not. That's so much to unpack here. Then I don't want to get into all of the details, because, I don't think that they matter, like for you in particular. I just wanted to share more so like on my decisions process, and, hopefully you can learn a few things here and there. But just, TLDR, started very early, got myself to this point, and, never really thought about what I really want to do in my life. Just picked whatever is, the safest, and feel like, the prestige, being a doctor is a huge responsibility. It's, it's all of the good stuff, and it's just not for me. It's just not who I am now that I know more about myself and what I feel like my soul is yearning for, my soul is aligning for. It's just not truly something that something that I can have a career with. Which now I'm going to talk more in terms like, okay, where am I now and what I have to do, so on and so on. So because I didn't get to continue, and I basically had to wait, at that time felt like infinitely, like I don't know how long it's going to take with the resident card and stuff, the immigration processes. So I just had to find something to do. During COVID time, so before I graduated, I ventured into like illustrations, graphic design, just basically had nothing to do, just stuck in the apartment all the time. And, I was doing all the things like watching series, like playing games. And then I got myself into, streaming video games, because like playing Sims and so on, because, I love playing games, and why not try streaming? I did think about, becoming like a Twitch streamer, which actually is a lot of work. And I tried it. It was like, okay, having to stream hours and hours and playing games all the time gets boring. Like, I love playing the games, but not that long all the time every day. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. But, I still would want to do something YouTube and like content-wise. And I tried, making videos here and there. It's just also a lot of work. Like, again, it's just like, oh my gosh, a lot of work. But I felt like it was a really great learning experience for me to go to do it, and to learn all of the necessary skills, because those skills that I learned, like every video editing, graphic design, projects around that, and also illustrations, help me gain some creative skills, which is now where I'm going to tell you, where I decided to enroll into a graphic design course for like 1 year. Like after graduation to basically learn more, and I learned better myself, even though I didn't really go to the class because they were anyway, not unrelated to the story. But so I was learning different things, different programs, Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, Figma, all of the design tools. Those were the main ones. And then I was fortunate. This is just like came out of the blue, literally. My partner, he was working at this tech company, and they needed a graphic designer, actually more like an intern, because they just needed somebody to help with their work, because it was like almost the end of the year. That was 2021, and they needed some help. And so I was like, okay, fine. Let's try it. Since I'm learning graphic design anyway, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And I did that, and I basically that turned my life like completely. That changed my life completely, and it was a moment where I finally I had one the pause from medicine just to kind of clarify, okay, what am I doing with my life, and also secondly to have creative work being rewarded monetarily. Just felt like, oh my god, I actually can do this. I can break away from medicine, because a lot of times I thought I don't know. I don't know what else to do, and I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the same. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do other than becoming a doctor? Because it's just so mind-boggling to me right now. And now I can tell you many things you could do, but at that point I was like, what else am I gonna do? So basically, it's not easy doing something completely new that I did not study for. I have artistic skills I developed as in high school and in middle school, and as a hobby, here now and then. As someone who plays Sims a lot, I love building houses. So where am I going with this? It's kind of chaotic because it's so unplanned. I did not plan at all in the beginning to just take off my journey, career like that. Initially I was like, okay, well, I needed to have some income to basically hustle for some money. And then maybe when finally I could have my resident card and I could process all of the other stuff, that I gonna be able to go back to medicine and apply for internship and maybe continue down that route. Little did I know that pause allowed me to have just have a different perspective of my life and how what I really want to do with my life, and finding my purpose. And rest assure you, I'm still finding that answer, but I feel like I am closer to it than ever before. It's been basically 4 years now, gonna be 3.5 to 4 years, where I started at the end of 2021, so now it's middle of 2025. I'm still working at the same company. I met the most loveliest of people. They're so nice, and obviously the job that I'm doing now are really different from the things that I'll be doing as a doctor. However, I use a lot of skills like people relations and so on. That's kind of why I decided to feel okay with medicine in the beginning, because I was really I like psychology. I like thinking in that sense, people and so on. And for those of you who followed me for a long time, and now that I'm getting to spirituality, which I'll talk about in a sec, it just makes total sense, why I the way that I am, because at the end of the day, we live in a society where people kind of box things we have the STEM subject, we have the sciences, the art, the humanistics. Well, really, before this education system was created, all of these disciplines were interconnected because the universe is all connected. And so science and art is never separated. It was never this way because, if you look at the nature and how we think and everything, there is art and science intertwined. I just got a new puppy and I love him like so much, but it's like having a baby. He's so chaotic. So sorry for the interruption. Anyway, where was I? I wanted this to be unedited so bad, but I have this dog always with me. So apologies if it got jumbled up. But anyway, so like society just defined things. They define things in a way that we felt like this is our reality. And my spiritual awakening and like ascension helped me realize that I was stuck in this limiting belief where I made this mistake of going to medicine and not really knowing what I wanted to do, and now I have to be stuck with it and do something with it, and I wasn't able to do anything else, and which was like just a defeatist like attitude, honestly, because and I admit like this is really ingrained in my cultural upbringing. My parents, they were not they were they grew up from scarcity, and even my ancestors, like back to my grandparents generations, we were growing up in they were raised in scarcity, and of course like their mindset is totally different, and the world that they were living in back then were totally different. And for us right now and for our generation, again, like the world is changing so fast. It's just like, there's just a lot of possibilities of what we can do. And so if you're watching this still to this point, I can tell you that if you ever believe that you can do something else other than what you are doing now, it will happen. And you will have the choice and you will make it. Because if you are still stuck in, like, if you fall down into the comfort space, which is fine, like, again, like we just need to make some money and like try to have a life, and basically, like that's my principle, that like, I don't need to have, I don't need an like my career don't need to be my identity, okay? Even though I'm a graphic designer, I'm not like going around everywhere, hey, I'm a designer or something like that. I do graphic design. I work for a tech company and I have my life outside of it, and I have live a full life, and that's basically my principle. If it's different for you, that's totally fine. I just letting part of me sharing this, just trying to get people to understand that there is possibility outside of things that they're used to, or that you don't need to put yourself in a cage, because you are putting yourself in a cage. Like what I mean is, like, by believing that you cannot change, then that will be reality. When you believe that you can change, that you work towards it, it will happen 100%. Like, I feel like I'm a living proof of it. Not gonna lie, like getting that job and like meeting all of those people, and all of these incredible things happening to me was like not planned at all, and I'm very grateful. I thank God every day, and like the universe and everything for sending that my way, and just have so much gratitude for this. But when like 4 years ago, like I really felt like total darkness, even though looking back now, it wasn't, there were like way out. When you look at your past like that, it's like, oh, okay, there are other doors, and you're gonna feel that along the journey. Another thing that you're gonna be feeling, if you are in the process of thinking of changing job or already changed, you're gonna have this constant thought about going back, which for me, a lot of days, like almost every day, I was thinking, okay, should I go back, because things are so uncertain. And sorry, my dog. Things are so uncertain, and you don't know what's gonna happen in the future, and that's kind of testing your spirit. That like, You don't know what life's going to throw at you. I did not, obviously expect the COVID, like not at all. When that happened, I was like, what the fuck? I did not know it's going to change my life this way. If that didn't happen, I'd probably be somewhere in a hospital working in some wards, like to be honest, right? I would have not changed. I would not have the courage to do what I'm doing now. And so in that way, I'm kind of thankful for that it happened. And I'm sensing that, there's going to be a shift happening this year to next year, or perhaps in the next 5 years or so, as society moves into a different level of consciousness, and we evolve, right? Technology, like right now, technology is so intertwined in our lives, like AI, every field you can imagine. And also spirituality right now, spirituality meeting science, that medicine right now, it's evolving to be something totally different, and that's where I'm going to talk about now, where do I still feel like, I could use my knowledge in medicine and, my, like the psychology and all of those stuff. And yes, I do still feel like that's still a really gonna be a big part of who I am moving forward. Obviously I love my current job, and like I love the people that I'm working with. But as a designer, as a creative, that's why I ventured into spirituality, out of, healing myself. But the more I ventured into it, and I just realized that there's a lot of it, there's so much art and so much inspiration. If you look back in history, where artists, they create art, it's all like connection to the divine. And all sorts of artists, they need some muse of some kind. It's basically, painting life, I would say. And with that, yeah, where I'm going with this, it's just like why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I hope that you can take from here that this is a journey. It's for me, I just let this flow because I wanted this video to feel as authentic as possible, as you get to know me, because I'm generally like, I don't want people to know that I did not, obviously have a massive plan in my head that all of this is gonna happen. That all of this was really truly, I trusted in the universe to guide me in where I needed to be. I got it in the divine to take me where I need to be. And at part, if you're asking me what I truly desire, that's really important questions. All I want is a happy, balanced life. Like I have, one of the things I really wanted was a Pomeranian, and I have one right now. Very lovely, very naughty, very energetic, but I love him with all my heart. I have a very beautiful, loving partner. Very, he is my heart. He's my soul. He's my soulmate. And that's, things I'm thankful for every single day of my life, every single second, every single minute. Outside of that, like the finance, everything, I'm also very thankful that I have all of this, and that's where my focus on my energy is. It was no longer where my energy was, okay, who am I going to become, like if I'm going to be a doctor, and like what specialty I'm going to do, like what exams I'm going to do. Finally, like I have a closure now that I don't want to be that person again. You know, if I were to go back, it would not be the same. Like, I have things to explore. This is just basically the beginning of this chapters, second or third chapters in the book, that here is my journey, and part of why I, name my channel Bunta.journey, and my dog is doing something in the background. I'll try to finish this quickly. Thank you for watching. I hope you get something, at least one helpful thought or thing, something to inspire you in some way or another. And to keep your hope strong. This is something that I will give you this, that you need to trust, you need to be hopeful, and and to keep going for it. To keep going for it and never stop. Whatever you want, whatever you desire. I've talked to many people, a few friends come up to me as well that, who are thinking about changing. Some people, they are they feel more aligned in their passion, in their careers. And some people, they question, and that's totally fine. Not in a way saying that medicine is, you shouldn't do that and so on. It's a great profession. If you love it, helping people and all of this stuff, like, go for it. You're gonna enjoy it, But if you are in it just to, to have some safety net, I don't think you're gonna enjoy it, for a long time. You're gonna be finding yourself like looking for other things, and that's totally fine. That's probably most of the people, including myself, to be completely honest. Because life is more than just like working and careers and identity and all of that stuff. It's beyond that. So take care. Bye bye.